Hello, today's video is an overview of AR Defense and AR Offense Mythics, in which I will go over their builds and IVs, and more importantly I will provide my perspective on AR Defense Mythics, as they are the most difficult to build. The problem is that since we probably know that the combat ability of Mythics will not age very well in the future, furthering expensive skills may not be recommended for ARD units that you will deploy once every 2 months. But for AR offense, mythic merges are important for scoring, hence why the investment is probably worth it, and this is the real dilemma. While for AR offense you can probably always find some utility in all mythics, depending on your playstyle and team building, it's the complete opposite for AR defense. When a unit like Sophies has nothing to offer except their strength, you might wonder if you want to use them even during their bonus season, and how to build them if they cannot kill anything because their stats are now completely obsolete. Having said that, let's start reviewing all of them one by one. I will begin with Dark Mythics Sophies first. She has kind of a good stat overall, so you need plus speed to avoid follow-up. You do not expect Sophies to kill anything, obviously. She is a melee unit, and the problem is that if she enters combat, it's likely she is attacking the super tank. In other words, she's probably dead. What you want Sophies to accomplish is using repositional assist like swap reposition pivots to place the strong damage dealers out of danger. And you want a build which gives Sophies additional stats like ARD speed res, speed def or speed res form in the future as a secret seal, and rule attack speed again to avoid follow up and buffs. And eventually Sublime Surge may not be the best weapon for Sophies, because while you can counter attack, what she wants is just to survive. For example, Pale Breath or Water Breath is good as it gives more defensive stats. So what you want Sophies to accomplish is placing the true damage dealers behind and being a real annoyance for your opponent. What you want Sophies to accomplish is this: making them waste multiple actions to kill her. One action is not sufficient to kill her, so you have to use a dance or another unit to take her down. But doing this means they cannot retreat, they cannot hit and run, and their units will be exposed, and you have multiple ranged cavalries behind Sophies ready to snipe everyone next turn. So you want Sophies to protect everyone and not kill. The second build on the right shows Dragon Wall. You are obviously only using Sophies during her bonus season. So speed res form in the future as a secret seal, and ARD speed res, joint drive res is not too bad. This build actually can survive and destroy a dual lane. This is surprising, but I checked and that is really amazing. Hot Tempest, I do not suggest Hot Tempest because this is an expensive skill, and I think it's more useful for AR offense. And some units in AR defense which are very strong, like Era or Duo Ephraim, I will have a video coming next very soon with Hot Tempest. But it's a choice for Sophies Hot Tempest if you want to use cavalries, following them and using repositional assist. But still, I do not suggest Hot Tempest. The next is Yun. So Yun probably wants plus attack, because again you will use Yun only during her bonus season. Even if you want to use a Chaos named, she will have 46 easily, 46 resistance, and this is probably enough. And in fact, Triandra is obviously better than Yun, and Triandra's dance inflict debuffs across the board, so it kind of overlap with Chaos named. So maybe you want to consider eventually ground orders. I do not suggest Study Impact. If you haven't further anything for Yun, I will not suggest Study Impact. She's likely not going to survive and you will not use her very often. I think Fury 3 is okay. And a rally with aerobatics. Next is Bramimon. So Bramimon has nothing to offer except his high attack, so you should always go for plus attack. I think his base kit is pretty much optimized. If you want, you can use Study Impact, but there's probably no need for that. Attack Deform is wonderful on Bramimon. I suspect some people still keep Hardy Bearing on Bramimon, but you don't see Vantage very often, and Brave Ike is dead. If your defense struggle against Brave Ike, I do not believe this is because you don't have Hardy Bearing. I think this is a problem with your defense. There are many ways to kill Brave Ike today without using Hardy Bearing. So more attack and defense for Bramimon is definitely very good. And next we have Hell. Hell, obviously, same thing with Sophies. You do not expect her to kill, you want her to survive and use Repositional Assist to protect the strong damage dealers. She wants also plus speed to avoid follow-up. And distant counter is not the best on Hell. Again, she wants more stats. She's a mythic, she doesn't get the blessings. And also resistance is her weak point. So giving her plus 10 resistance, plus 10 speed is very good on top of inevitable death. And guard bearing. You can use eventually Wings of Mercy, but this assumes that your allies will survive, and it's not easy for ranged units to survive someone like Brave Actor. Obviously Mystic Boost, the best heal for Hell, no doubt. The next now, Triandra. Obviously she wants plus attack. It's very unlikely for Triandra to make a follow-up unless she attacks, for example, Peony. But if the enemy counter-attack, she's probably dead. My plus defense Triandra one day died to air. My Triandra initiated on air and air immediately counter-attack and one-shot Triandra. This tells you how fragile she is. So plus attack is better. Even if she wants to die and commit a suicide attack, you want her to deal the most damage. Then of course ground orders aerobatics because you need the movement buff. And then we have Nott. Obviously plus speed, because you want her to survive and provide Pathfinder to everyone. And for the same reason, you want ARD speed res, because otherwise it's very easy for your opponent to outspeed her, especially when you consider Dagger and Freyja. I played with Dagger and Freyja last week in live season. I have no problem destroying Nott, even plus speed. Some of these people had plus speed Nott. My Dagger or Freyja one shot easily Nott 55-60 damage. So you want speed to get the damage reduction. You don't need Nott to counter attack from a distance. Distant counter is good on super tank, beefy, with summoner support and a lot of drive and distant guard, close guard, ally support, and Nott of course doesn't meet this requirement. Hot Tempest, however, could be a good choice for Nott because Pathfinder will age really well. Her combat ability is not too bad right now, but in the future it won't hold. But Pathfinder will hold, so perhaps having Hot Tempest just to make sure she can follow those cavalries and she is using reposition on them. Hot Tempest could be a good choice if you have this fodder. And of course in the future, Sacred Seal could be something like Speed Death form or Speed Rest form. Moving on to Light Season and starting with, if I can find her, Air. If I can find her. Okay, so the best IV for Air is probably Resistance for Temari Plus. I know some people would use eventually Odd Tempest, Odd Recovery, but at least Temari Plus triggers next turn, so it's still good to have. With double Fortress Resistance, the C slot is free. You can use Sparkling Boost or Flyer Guidance. I use Flyer Guidance for Gale Force because it's very useful. Disarm Trap is probably the best seal, the best B for Air, because not because you want to use Air Force. Air Force is not effective now. People will use Nott, double Nott. They get plus 10 defense. Air is not killing anyone. But Disarm Trap is good for Gale Force. It allows Air to destroy the traps, especially the heavy trap. Just for this reason alone, you want to use Disarm Trap with Reposition. It really helps for turn 1 Gale Force. And next we have Peony. So Peony, you can use double Life and Death for Bright Shrine. If you can get and keep Aerobatics and Wings of Mercy, this would be nice because both of these are important. The mobility is really the most important thing for Peony. And a bonus thing, if you really want to use double Peony for your AR offense team, the second Peony maybe can use something different, probably like Flora Guide and Attack Res Rain, especially for Gale Force. I think in the future, adaptive damage can be very, very important. Someone like Annette or the new Valencian Pala, inflicting them with -5 and -4 resistance. Adaptive damage is strong for Gale Force. It's very interesting. The next Mythic is a Mila. So this is my Mila. Double Drive Attack and double Destined Guard. You know, I do not really enjoy isolation. I respect dancers and I want to allow them to do their job, which is to dance. So this is why I am not using it. But otherwise, you want Mila obviously plus defense, Fortress, Death Res, Fortress Death, Turn Wheel, and obviously Death Res Link is very good on Mila because she gives buffs and she keeps absorbing the Dark Shrine. And actually Sabotage Attack is not good on Mila because it kind of overlaps with Temari Plus. The next one, Freyja. So Freyja, obviously she wants plus attack. You don't want to use Freyja as a tank, more like a Gale Force unit. But activating Heavy Blade is near impossible, especially against plus attack Bramimon. You will likely fail, even with plus attack Freyja. She needs really the attack to trigger Heavy Blade. Attack Speed Catch is an upgrade to solo, especially if you consider you are using Dagger and Freyja. The solo can be a problem sometimes. If you can get it, AD near Trace is very interesting for Freyja because it allows the dancer to jump in through Pathfinder and dance Freyja even if you do not use Wings of Mercy. If you attack with Freyja, there is a good chance she will one-shot, for example, Nott. And in this case, Wings of Mercy cannot trigger, but after a dance, Gentle Dream, Freyja can move again, and Dagger can also get the effect of ground orders. So you can use a turn 1 Gale Force without Wings of Mercy, and Trace is also very nice for trapping enemies. Death Smoke is also interesting if you need it, because with double Nott, with Hell, they get plus 10 or maybe plus 15 defense, so you need more attack to kill them, and you need to debuff their defense whenever possible. So Dagger, both attack and speed IV are good, but I think you should probably go for speed, because if you're fighting, let's say, Nott plus speed or bonus season, you might eventually fail to get your follow-up and activating Flashing Blade. So just for that reason alone, for the matchup against Nott, you want, I think, plus speed. Because you may not always want to use Sun Twin. Hit and Run and Wings of Mercy allows for more flexibility. So if you're not using Sun Twin, you're losing 5 speed. And Nott will obviously use her B slot, so she has an advantage of 5 speed. So for that reason alone, plus speed is definitely good on Dagger. Fury is very interesting if you need to activate Wings of Mercy faster. Hot Tempest is very interesting for Dagger for turn 1 initiation. If you have trouble with cooldown reduction more than the movement provided with Hot Tempest, in this case you want Time Pulse. But she's definitely worth your premium folders. She's very interesting for Gale Force Pathfinder. Now moving on with Anima Methics. First one is, I think, was Duma. Wow, I really like this unit. He's one of the few units right now who can still deal a lot of damage against super strong tanks like Brave Actor. He wants plus attack, obviously. As for the build, well, I use Attack Def Unity and I can tell you this guy is disgusting. He's really scary. If you don't have Attack Def Unity, Death Blow is okay. But he can easily meet the condition of Unity because he's an armor unit. And he wants probably Bolt Fighter, Upheaval, and the seal is completely free. You can use anything. You can use armored boots. Escutcheon is nice to survive the first counter attack, especially if they use Divine Fang. So he can survive Dragon effectiveness thanks to Escutcheon. And obviously he wants Pivot. Frazier, if I can find her. Well, she's not good. Okay, she's not good. Even with additional stats, even considering Wings of Light, she dies easily. And she's not inflicting much damage. So investing in her may not be a wise choice. But if you really want to invest, I think she needs more stats. And Flashing Blade doesn't give the stats. It gives some true damage. That's not enough. She wants attack and speed. So attack speed push is good on her. Time Pulse also to make up for the loss of Flashing Blade. With respect to Ivy, it's a difficult choice. You're only using Frazier during her bonus season, so considering she's being used during her bonus season, she will get something like 44 speed. So this is probably enough. So that's why I think maybe her best IV is plus attack. You really need to kill them. The speed is okay. I think the speed for Frazier is okay, especially if you consider furthering attack speed push. In this case, she probably has too much speed during her bonus season. And Wings of Light. She really needs more attack. She obviously doesn't deal a lot of damage otherwise. Leaf, same problem as with Sophies. He has good fodder with Time Pulse, so maybe you don't want to build him or use him and instead using him again as times post fodder, like Sophies. But otherwise, if you want to use him, always go for plus attack, always. Two builds could be keeping distant counter, deadly balance, and using swap reposition. Or you can use Steady Impact with Odd Tempest, and it's not too bad, actually. Steady Impact and Odd Tempest is an interesting choice for him, but again it competes with a distant counter, and not many units can easily one-shot Leaf during his bonus season, considering Wings of Light. Some units will definitely fail, and if they fail, in this case, Open the Future will destroy them easily. So maybe Distant Counter is a good option. If you're not using Steady Impact, I think I can see the appeal for either of these builds. But I don't think he's worth furthering either Steady Impact or Tempest, and probably you should keep Distant Counter, I think. And Mirabilis, probably you want plus defense or resistance, and keeping Fortress Death Res, because the more defense res total she has, and the more likely she is going to absorb the Dark Shrine away from the other units. Otherwise, of course, you want her to provide ground orders, aerobatics, but this one is just my build for HP matching, because I am using very often Sarah's Kia Staff. The next is a Cerros. So Cerros is interesting. I think you can use eventually ARD speed res, and her best IV probably now is resistance, just because of the existence of Asherah. Asherah giving plus 5 resistance and buffs plus 6. So she might struggle activating Dragon Wall because of Asherah. And you really want ARD speed res maybe instead of Mirror Impact. Let me explain why. If she attacks again, she's a melee, so she's likely fighting Brave Edelgard, Brave Actor, and Follow Edelgard. The problem is that she doesn't have enough speed to meet the condition of Aurora Breath. Brave Actor and Follow Edelgard will deny her follow-up. But if you outspeed them, she keeps her follow-up. If you get speed attack buff and ARD speed res, plus 10 speed, and a seal with more speed eventually, like Steady Blow. If you succeed at outspeeding Brave Actor, you keep your follow-up, and that is good. Impact, in fact, is not so good against Brave Actor because he's faster than Cerros, and in this case, Impact doesn't work. So if Cerros is going to die against Brave Actor, at least you want to make sure Cerros gets a follow-up against Brave Actor. And the good thing about ARD speed res is that it works on both phases. I told you that before. Asherah could be a problem for Cerros. So having resistance plus 10 in enemy phase allows Cerros to avoid easy one-shot. As for the C slot, I keep seeing people mentioning Odd Tempest. I'm not sure about this because Cerros does not provide Pathfinder, unlike Nott, so she doesn't provide anything. She has good bulk thanks to Dragon Wall, but that's it. Also, I think Wings of Light has some potential for future Mythics in Anima season if they become stronger. If we get next month Bramimon 2.0, for example, a stronger Bramimon in this case will get the benefit of Wings of Light. So Wings of Light is good on Cerros for future Mythics in Anima season. So this is why I'm not sure. Our Tempest is really good on Cerros, and again she doesn't offer much more than just her bulk. Now with Astra Mythics, Naga, except Divine Fang she has nothing to offer, so Smite, double life and death for Bright Shrine, plus speed is good to avoid follow-up. Wings of Mercy is very nice for cleanup phase. It really helps me very often. You can consider attack speed link, but I'm not sure it's necessary, especially when you consider that attack speed link is rare and expensive. Next we have Altina. Of course, as a carry unit, she's not doing well with Vantage, and you have Winter Altina who is 10 times better. Altina, I use her with Gale Force, Ardent Sacrifice, Escape Route, Brazen, along with Bernadetta and her weapon. But I think the best B slot for Altina is not Escape Route. Escape is okay, but AD Near Trace is really strong. It opens more possibilities for Wings of Mercy. So it's really nice for an upgrade. If you're not using Altina with Gale Force, I suggest something different. Wings of Mercy, Quicken Pulse, Attack, Rest Push, and Twin Blades. With Twin Blades, Quicken Pulse, she can destroy even the strongest tanks, unless this is blue. For example, she easily destroys Brave Elderguard. If you use Gale Force and you find that Brave Elderguard is impossible to kill, then Wings of Mercy, Twin Blades, Quicken Pulse, easy one-shot on Brave Elderguard. Very strong. And if you're still not using Altina with Gale Force or Gale Force support with Wings of Mercy, there is one last possibility. Plus defense, which I think it was a super boon actually. Geshun, double Fortress Death Res and Death Res Link, and Smite. Using her the same way as Mila. Soaking the Dark Shrine. You will only use this Altina during her bonus season. 51 defense, 56 resistance is really nice for absorbing the Dark Shrine. The next now is Plumeria. I strongly suggest resistance. The reason for that is because sometimes I play with Plumeria and I use Plumeria to dance multiple times someone like Cecilia, and then I find out that my Plumeria will get exposed to some mages or healers. But then I discovered that sometimes, and very often in fact, those healers, after attack smoke or speed smoke, they cannot kill Plumeria. Especially if Plumeria is plus resistance and has rest push and keeping attack res rain, it's not a bad idea to force the healer to attack Plumeria. A long time ago I made a mistake. I let Veronica attacking my tank Seraph, and he died because she inflicted debuff and buffed everyone else. So if you're forcing, let's say, Veronica to attack Plumeria 3 spaces away from, let's say, Cecilia or Seraph, they avoid debuffs. And maybe they can avoid flash if she has flash. So with plus resistance, rest push, unless the healers is reaching 75 attack or something, they cannot kill Plumeria, and they will go after Plumeria if they deal more damage to Plumeria. So this is probably the best way to use her. And it gives you more possibilities for the dance. You can dance her multiple times and not worrying about her being exposed. Reagan, well, she wants obviously plus attack. The enemies in air defense are becoming more and more difficult to kill. They stack so much defense, resistance, it's difficult. So Safer Shell is good to keep. And plus attack is good because Reagan is probably not going to fail at having a follow-up. She will always get her follow-up because she's too fast. Wings of Mercy is good for obvious reasons, even if you are not considering Gale Force. Panic is good to keep because a lot of these Mirabilis you will see, they have Death Race Gap. So Panic Smoke reversing buffs is nice. And some people use Odd Recovery, and because they use Odd Recovery, they know they can use full buffs without worrying about Panic. So if you attack them next turn with Panic Smoke, this is really good. Otherwise, if you don't use Panic Smoke, Joint Drive attack is okay on Reagan. And last we have Asherah. I think attack and speed are good IVs. If you don't know what you want to do with her, maybe let's go with plus speed. But still, ultimately, I think plus attack is better. She wants to one-shot. And Wings of Mercy is very good on her, not just for Gale Force, but for clean-up phase next turn. Giving her more mobility is really good. And you can get Moonbow or Glimmer with Death Blow C or Quicken Pulse. If you have someone like, I don't know, Raphael with Infantry Pulse, you can definitely keep Quicken Pulse and get Instant Glimmer or Moonbow. So now if we summarize, it's obvious ARD is not easy to build. We have ARD melee Mythics with low movement who need to protect the allies with movement assist and skills giving more stats, and on the other hand, range units who want to kill weak foes, who need plus attack, most of them. Probably also with the help of some teleportation skills like Gentle Dream, Ground Orders. Budget skills are preferred in general for ARD Mythics, unless you have a high number of merges and you use them very often in your defense. AR Offense Mythics aged much better than AR Defense Mythics for obvious reasons, scoring purpose. So they might be worth some premium fodder and even trade fruits. If your summoning session is bad, or if you're not ready to pull for another copy. In either ways, every little details matter. This shouldn't be taken lightly. Well, that's it for today. I will see you next time. Thanks for listening.